and welcome to hobbyHotTips.com. Today we're going to be painting a death mark, and it's in fast forward, so no, I can't paint that fast, but we're just going to do it this way so it's nice and quick and you can kind of get the gist of what we're trying to do. So I've started off with using a number 3 basing brush, and I'm painting P3's pig iron. It's a nice dark metallic paint, and I'm just painting the ankles, the parts of the knees, and the inner parts of the death mark. Trying to get some good coverage because we're going to come back in with a wash. So just working in on all the parts, on the arms, the chest, the sides of the head, the jawline. Not forgetting the hands on the rifle, and even some parts on the rifle too, like the hose and the muzzle, and even the part where he's holding on with his left hand there. We can apply the paint as well. And once we have this all covered up, I'm going to use a liner brush, and I'm going to get Moot Green, Citadel's Moot Green, and fill in some parts of the rifle that have that nice Necron glowing look to it. And we want to fill in all the crevices that we can so no black is shining through. Now it might look like we're kind of messy right here, but it's alright because we're going to be covering that up with pig iron. So we're just trying to get it all filled in. We'll even come in with a wash on that to get the nice crevices looking darker for a more three-dimensional look inside the rifle. Alright, so there's pig iron, so we're covering over some of the details. We're not obviously painting over the green, but we're trying to let that be in the deeper parts. Alright, now we're going to do the wash. We're using an armor wash from P3, and we're going over the pig iron. This will give us nice dark details and a little nice dimensions of dark colors in the darker places, because we're also going to be doing some dry brushing over this after the wash dries. So just make sure we get good coverage, and then go back over it again to make sure no wash is pulling up in the deeper areas. And to do this wash, I'm using a number 3 basing brush, a 3-round basing brush. Now we're moving on to doing the dry brush. We're using P3's Cold Steel to dry brush the top surfaces of the metal. And the brush we're using is a small dry brush from Citadel. They make really nice dry brushes. But we're just trying to give that effect of the overhanging light, brightening up the metal. And it turns out pretty good, especially around the sharp edges. We're trying to do it kind of heavy because we're going to do some more highlights after some other shades. Now we're going to come in and again do pig iron on some of the parts that we forgot on the rifle. Just being careful not to get too happy with it. And now we're using Caliban Green to cover the rest of the rifle. Again, not getting into the places where we already put the Moot Green. And we're using the flat part of the brush so we don't get inside those nice crevices, but just kind of rolling over them. We also want to paint the chest plate with the Caliban Green. And have to turn it upside down, flip it around to get all of the different angles. So we're using a liner brush to continue putting the Caliban Green on the rifle and just getting the nice details at the top without going over the steel or the other green. Now we're using Caliban Green to base the orbs and the lenses, the orbs being on his back and the lens being the front of the eye, and the orbs on the top of the rifle. Now we're going to use the same liner brush and Caliban Green to start outlining his armor. So we're going to go around the shoulder pads, around that hood up there, also the back, and the tops and bottoms of his legs. Now we're just trying to get the edges, not trying to run onto the steel colors, but just make a nice thick line so that it looks like it's blending in from black to green around the edges of the armor and the legs. On the hood, I'm just taking the liner straight down the thick lines. It covers both sides of the crevices, but that's okay because we're going to come in with a wash and fill in the deeper parts of that armor to cover the lines, so it makes a nice fading illusion. And my apologies for going off camera here. Sorry about that, but just getting the legs, getting the top and bottom portion of the legs. We'll come in and dry brush these edges I think with warp stone green to give it a nice kind of edgy effect. But again, just using that liner brush, trying to get as close as we can to the edge, but without going over. Next, we're going to use the liner brush, and we're going to use Minoth White Highlight, P3's off-white color, and we're going to paint one side of his front face plate there, and then carefully do the other side. We're going to try not to paint the black line in the middle, because we're going to try to use a green wash to give it a nice kind of glowing effect. And after we cover that decently, we're going to take a dry brush and get Marrow White and dry brush the edges for a nice raised look. So there we go with the dry brush. Now we're going to get Warpstone Green and use a 10/0 brush. I'm not really sure how they call that, but just going over some of the sharper edges and try to do a lighter highlight around the edges. And we're also going to base the orbs and lens. And we're not going to forget the small orbs on the back, and then there's 2 on the shoulder blades as well. And there's the lens. And we can't forget the 2 orbs on top of the rifle. The next step we're going to do is grab the Warpstone Glow Green, and we're going to get our dry brush, and we're going to dry brush all the Caliban green that we put on the rifle, giving it a nice raised edge effect. Make sure even to get inside the glowing green parts. It'll give it a nice glow effect. And now we're going to dry brush around the armor to give another raised edge effect all around the back and the hood and even the legs and the calves. Next we're going to get some Warpstone and color the rifle hose, and also we're going to get our dry brush and use Warpstone again just to go over these areas, give them that nice highlight on the orbs and lens and the rifle. Trying to work it in to give that a nice glow effect, even also across the ridges of the rifle, so it looks like it's glowing out of the rifle. Right now it looks like we're doing the shade. We've got the nice liner brush, and let's see what shade we've got. That's Biltan Green. It's a nice green wash that we're going to use to bring all these nice highlights out, blend in the greens. As you can see, we're also doing the armor and the lenses. It brings all the greens together, ties them in for a nice shaded look. We even want to get the wash inside of the glowing parts of the rifle, the inner rifle glow. That way it highlights the edges inside the rifle. And now we're dry brushing the lenses, the orbs, and the rifle hose with Moot Green for that added wow effect for the glowing parts. And we're using Ard Coat to give the orbs and lenses a nice gloss look. And another wash of green over the face for added detail. And one of the last details is Ithrium Blue. It's a dry brush that Citadel makes. It's a little bit blue, like a very light blue. Kind of gives an atmospheric look to metal, almost like the sky is reflecting in the metal. So we're going to get all the top parts of the metal to give it a little blue sheen. And then carefully put Moot Green on the chest logo, the Necron chest logo. And dot the little lenses on the shoulders with Moot Green as well. So that's it. That's the end product. Hope you had fun. If you like it, give us some thumbs up. And if you want to see some more painting videos, please subscribe. Thanks, guys.